movie guy. I like to go work. I'm simple. For the most part, I hang. I got 3 dogs, a bull mastiff and 2 Pomeranians. So that's a
2 Pomeranians. You don't look like the type to have
drastic difference.
A big difference. Those are my guys.
Okay.
For me, is that I'm a movie guy. I work out. I stay to myself. I'm single. For me, is what I tell females now. I'm looking for someone to partner with, not someone to sponsor.
Right.
In LA, you know, that means a lot. You know
for me,
it's a lot of sponsorships out here.
And for me, I need you to bring something more to the picnic than your appetite.
Absolutely.
Bring utensils, bring napkins,
something.
Even if you're bringing tater salad that Becky cooking, it's not even good.
Right.
They got grapes in it.
Something.
Just bring something.
Right.
And so for me, and it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough because you're like, hey, do you like me for me, or you like me for the
TV, the opportunity?
Right.
Yeah.
So it's tough. It's tough. And so,
what's going on, guys? I'm Jaye Black. Shout out to everybody that's tuning in. I want to talk about this video. I probably have already put a clip at the beginning so you can get the gist of what I'm speaking about. I was sent this video clip of an interview that Shannon Sharpe was doing on the Get Your Popcorn podcast with Terrell Owens and another guy. And in this podcast, he spoke about why he's single, right? Why he's not in relationships, and what type of woman he's not looking for. It's very interesting. You would think that, Shannon Sharpe, he keeps himself in shape. He has a good job on Fox Sports. He's out there in LA. You would think it wouldn't be very difficult for Shannon Sharpe to find the type of woman that he's looking for. But Shannon Sharpe is like most men these days, especially men who are eligible, because I can't put all men in that category because there are men who just may not be dateable. Okay. But Shannon Sharpe has a lot of what a lot of women would say they're looking for. He's an athletic guy. He has a good career. All right. He seems to be a genuinely cool person. Right. There are things about Shannon I disagree with, but again, he seems to be very likable. So you would think that he would be able to find the right fit for him in LA, but that hasn't been the case. And him talking about how he basically wants to avoid the gold diggers. He wants to avoid the women who are coming after him for his bag. And he wants to avoid that. And I can understand why Shannon Sharpe wants to avoid those type of women, because y'all know I've made videos about these athletes, losing a portion of their bag by getting the wrong women pregnant. And maybe Shannon has a fear of he's going to hook up with the wrong woman and he's going to end up owing in the end, either with the kid, even though he's in his 50s, or by marrying. And I really don't see Shannon getting married, but he really don't want to deal with none of these leftover women either. He don't want to deal with the women that nobody else is really checking for as far as relationship. It's very interesting that he was linked to Nicole Murphy, right? And I find that interesting because I don't know if he's tried to get with her. He may have gotten with her, but that hasn't worked out, because I think Shannon only sees that as a casual situation that could go further, but that's a female who doesn't want to be kept, okay? Especially maybe by him, who knows? And I think that when you have a guy like Shannon who socially he knows how to interact with people socially, and he talked about how he was in a relationship for 10 years, over a decade, but that was before he moved to California, and how it still took him a while to get over that relationship, which is what a lot of men can agree with. And I think that, he has friends who are in his same position, former athletes, who have probably told him horror stories. I'm pretty sure he's had his close calls, and he wants to avoid that by any means necessary. Now, people look at Shannon and say, well, he's just Shannon Sharpe. Who's really just out here trying to get Shannon Sharpe? Well, there's a lot. You got to understand, there are women who are literally dating men who have deeply rooted issues, but because that guy is a celebrity, you know, he knows people, you have women that will still try to get with those guys, knowing full well those guys have some issues. And I think Shannon has done a lot to focus on his career instead of trying to be in a relationship. Even if he's in his 50s, he's still saying, you know what, I'm not settling down. I don't feel the need to. I'm just going to be in casual situationships. I'm not going to take any of these women seriously. And I understand that. You have a lot of women these days who are not dateable. They're just not. They don't want to be, you know, they basically want to be in these streets. They don't want to be saved. They don't want to be wifed up. They say they want to be wifed up, but in reality, that's not really what they're looking for. You have a lot of these women that want to be taken care of. Like, you got women on this very platform who will brag about how they want to teach women how to be gold diggers. You got these women talking about they want to be sugar babies, not really understanding that you're in a long line, because there's a lot of women who are trying to do the same thing. They want to be taken care of by rich men. And a lot of these rich men nowadays understand that more than anybody. And they are picking and choosing the type of women that they deal with. You got all these so-called leveling up women who aren't leveling up. They continue to level down simply for the fact that they tend to get pregnant by the wrong type of guys. And they don't understand that that's going to catch up with you eventually. You know, you're going to be left behind. You're going to be single out here in the streets. And there are women that are okay with that, but there are those that aren't. And they trying to change up real quick to try to get them a Shannon Sharpe. Now, Shannon Sharpe, again, he has the mindset of, I think, a lot of eligible guys out here who may be a bit older, who are a bit weary of not only marriage, but relationships. I'm telling you right now, you're going to see more and more men marry less and less because they see no value in marrying your modern day liberal minded female. Now, Shannon talked about how he doesn't want to date a broke female. He doesn't want a broke female. He wants a female that can work and take care of herself. But is that really what he wants? Because there's a lot of women out here with degrees. There's a lot of women talking about how intelligent they are, how successful they are. They brag about it every 5 minutes. There's plenty of women out there like that. So we have to dig deeper. Why is it that Shannon Sharpe is swearing off relationships right now? I believe he's swearing off relationships because he's like, why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free? You can literally just have, you know, casual situationships with women and not have to get into anything long term, which is what he and I think a lot of other men who have options are doing. They see no value in wifing up your modern day females. I'm sorry to tell y'all that. A lot of guys like Shannon Sharpe don't see value in most of these, especially the educated success. Because you got to ask yourself, okay, Shannon, you don't want a broke female. Why aren't you dating the women with degrees, who are highly educated, who have really good jobs, quote unquote? Why aren't you getting with them then? It's because Shannon understands the mindset of the modern day liberal minded female, and he knows that they just aren't worth it. It just isn't worth it. And he's going to take his time and he's going to filter through the type of women that he deals with. Because it seems to me, because he said he had his eye on one female. And if I believe it's who I think it is, I hope he isn't holding his breath. That's all I'm going to say on that. Because if she doesn't know that you're that interested in her, it's because she's probably in these streets and she wants to be in these streets. And there's really nothing that you can do to get her out of the streets. No. And that's just what's going on out here, man. A lot of guys, especially a lot of these guys who are more eligible, a lot of these guys who have the money and resources, who have the careers, who have maybe even the type of look. Because you got women that say they want a guy that's in shape, right? They don't want a fat guy, right? They want a guy who's out of shape, who they don't find attractive. But you having guys like Shannon Sharpe, former NFL player, currently on TV at Fox Sports, basically saying, I would rather go home to my dogs than have to deal with women in LA. Listen, man, if you can't find a woman in Los Angeles, because I understand Los Angeles, that's like the land of gold diggers. There's a lot of gold diggers in Los Angeles. You got a lot of women trying to get on. So I know it's going to be tough for him there. I know it is. I know it's tough. Every time you're looking around, there's a female trying to get on. So I can understand his apprehension about trying to wife any of those females, especially in Los Angeles. But I think he goes deeper than that, because he doesn't just have to date a woman from Los Angeles. I mean, he could travel anywhere and meet women. I just think that he understands that there's just a lot of women these days. A lot of them are the same. Their mindset is the same. It takes them longer to mature. And he just doesn't want to have to go through that. He doesn't want to have to go through a situation where he's with somebody who has 1 foot in the relationship and 1 foot out the relationship. That's going to want that ring, but as soon as she gets that ring, she's going to be looking for any reason to get out of that marriage. Because men are not going to be filing divorces. A lot of guys who have the money and resources, again, if they can get if they can get with a female and get what they can from her without getting and not making a commitment to her, they're going to do that. They're going to do that. Because women, for the most part, you just don't know where their mind is. You just don't. You would think that they're all in, the next thing you know, they're all out. And that's why you have guys basically swearing off relationships and saying, you know what, even though I have the resources to go anywhere in the world, not just LA, and I still can't find the one. I still can't find the one for me. That says a lot about how he feels about modern day females.